BTC at 106K. Things are looking a little bit bullish leading into the US Open. So I thought best we do some live trading leading into this market. Are we going to get absolutely rinsed later, or are they going to bounce us? So we're going to go through this. I've got a special guest here today as well. So looking forward to this live trading session, guys. Let's get right into it. Guys, and remember, this is Crypto Live, the Crypto Live channel. You normally catch me on Banter Plus doing this type of trading content Monday to Friday, but I thought let's go live on Crypto Live. This is what it's for. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel, hit that like, hit the bell, and make sure you are subscribed because I've got a couple of banging live trading sessions coming up, and you guys aren't really going to get much notice unless you are getting those notifications. So I'm going to give you a hint. I've got 𝗘𝗆𝗍𝗍 joining me for a massive session in the next couple of days. So let's get into what is going on in the market. What is the emergency, says Ivan? The emergency is DJ in place, bro. We try to print some dollars here, bro. And at the moment, Banter Bubbles nice and green. Things are looking sweet out there. Is this genius situation going to play into things like ENA, which is breaking a 4-hour trend? Are we going to get some moves out of ETH and some of those other plays at the moment? So everything is nice and green. And in terms of what we looked at on the show yesterday, I'd say we had a pretty good run. We caught Pipe. We caught Whiff. We caught a few other bangers. I think Cass, that Panda gave, was also a little bit of a ripper. And talking about Panda, here he is. So I've dragged him out of Chart Hackers, and he's our resident DGen breakout trader. And when things are looking like this, even if they are looking a little bit toppy or a little bit breaky and things like that, well, I tend to lean on him because he knows his way around a DGen chart. So welcome, sir. And he is busy putting a couple of things together. What do you have in your kitchen that you're cooking at the moment?
Got a couple of things, couple of degen. We'll see how degen we get. I'm a little bit iffy of this move, but hey, we just play the charts in front of us, and if there's a breakout, we're going to take it. But I'm trying to find a couple of these disgusting, really disgusting, like a little bit disgusting.
Okay, so guys, make me a promise here. Okay, we're leading into the US Open. Things are obviously going to get volatile. I'm going to talk to you about the gold chart. I'm going to talk to you about the S&P. We're going to then start looking at some of these shit coins. Okay, there is a possibility if we get a run into US Open, we might get a short-term move that we can sell. We can look for shorts, or if we get some kind of dip now leading into the US Open, that could tee us up for maybe one more burst in the market. My current thoughts are with BTC sitting where it is, that we might have one more push on BTC before some kind of major sell-off. And can we take advantage of it? I see Mark Dutch is in the house. Mark, where have you been hiding, sir? I haven't seen you in a while. So let's take a look at BTC. Let's just see what is going on. So remember, the higher time frame plan that I've had for the last 2 weeks was always a push into all-time high. I was saying to you guys, they've done all this work. They brought us into the zone. Why wouldn't these guys, the market makers, push us into all-time high before some massive capitulation or some massive sell-off? And I'm seeing the same situation currently on the S&P, and you can see right here below me is a golden cross coming on BTC. Now, what typically happens on a golden cross, well, not typically, but we see it fairly often, is that on a golden cross, you tend to drop into the golden cross once it happens or just after. And a death cross, which is the 50-day going below the 200-day, quite often you actually pump into that situation. So for me, we are kind of teeing up to possibly one more pump and then one more dump. I stand to be corrected, obviously. But in terms of what BTC is looking like on the higher time frame, you can see we are printing some bearish divergence reversals and things like that at the moment. And you can see we're about to print another divergence print on the daily time frame. So that means that the price is going higher, but my oscillator is going down. And that means we potentially running out of some momentum here on the market. Are there going to be buyers above 108K, for example? That is my big question. Or is it just going to be some kind of stop hunt? So in terms of BTC on lower time frames, well, this is what I like to track on the 2-hour. For those that catch my show Monday to Friday, you know the process. Yeah, I like the 2-hour chart on BTC. I like the daily, and then I love the shitcoin. So basically what we're looking at here is BTC has taken out yesterday's highs. We've had a beautiful pump, another massive grab there of any stops for anyone that was short. And now we are looking at a potential slow dip into this US Open. So you can see we're printing so much bearish divergence here on the 2 hour. And for me, at some point, I am feeling like we are going to get some kind of reversal. But does that reversal come with a little pump first and then some kind of sell-off? So the US Open is going to tell us this whole story, and we just need to be patient and make sure that we can react on the correct level. So in terms of BTC right now, where do I see some strong reactions or strong bounces? Well, number one, the down zone here, 105,700 is making sense to me. So a little dip there could offer us some kind of bounce. I've got my VWAP, I've got my 382s, I've got my horizontals in play as well. Then a little bit lower here, 105K is on my hit list, and 104,300. So these are typically my lower ping pong zones where we look for bounces and reactions, and we try and tie in the altcoins on corresponding supports on their degen timeframes, and we see if we can grab a couple of moves there off these. Now, Thomas says, where do we nibble? So, Thomas, we're working on a couple of nibbies for you, and Fahad says, Licky's on the US session, bro. Fahad, we're going to work on that, guys. The Licky's time. I mean, James is loving this. He's smiling. James is in the house. I promised him I wouldn't bring him on the screen, but there he is. Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome. Okay, guys, let's get into some degen things. So in terms of trades, congrats to Panda. Yesterday, he called that 𝗏 trade really nicely there for us. Let's get him up here. Here he is. And he actually dropped that yesterday sometime in Chart Hackers. And it was quite a big swing play that he was looking at. So those of you that caught the show yesterday with me, you saw I traded an isolated position on 𝗏𝗏. I had 3 orders set to purchase this 𝗏 on the way down, and all three triggers got fired, and we grabbed the full size position. So my average entry is now 1261. We're going to take you through that trade in a couple of minutes. Then I closed my big pendle long, and this morning I saw some strength in the market again, and opened a little scalp there for pendle. So that is that small pendle trade that is running at the moment, and you can see 𝗏 is sitting at about $20,000 at the moment. So Panda, I'm going to leave it up to you for the 𝗏 update. It was your setup after all. So what are we looking at now? Is there a possibility we get a double dip here? Are they going to come and send us back to hell, sir?
Well, it looks like it's just slowly grinding onwards and upwards. And the stocks are looking okay with the divergences on the short time frame, which is one of the very few tokens that has their stocks kind of in the green, either printing bullish divergences or on the rise on the 1 hour and the 2 hour. If you look at almost all the tokens that we've been looking at, they're all showing bearish signs on the 1 and the 2 hour. So that tells me that it's nice and steady, the push that's happening here, and it's clearly being controlled or manipulated, for lack of better terms, which still gives me the idea of this token unlock. We might be onto something here, because again, look at the market, it's exploding. We're doing an emergency stream, and 𝗏 is slowly just grinding up there. So it tells me that it's gearing up for a move. Double dip, yeah, we might see it. Just want to add, because we broke the entries to 3 levels. Like you said, I had 1 level with a very big bullish block, a little bit under your last order, which was not tagged. That's the only fear that I have, or kind of, hesitance, but 70% of my position got hit. So I'm kind of happy with that. I do expect some sort of pullback, but don't know if we're gonna, pull back to that level, which is around 1195.
So yeah, 1195. That's the backup zone, and you can see there's a bullish order block here on the 4 hour sitting in there, and we've just dipped into that guy. Okay, so anyone who got that 𝗏 trade, you are now green, or you should be green, and things are looking a little bit better. Look at that 4 hour. We have printed a reversal. Look at the 8 hour there, Panda. We've got a bullish divergence print. Nice. Okay, and then let's see if that's going to work. So guys, remember, if you are jumping into 𝗏 now, you are jumping into where we got our first order yesterday. This was a swing trade for us. So we looked at grabbing a couple of buys all the way down. So we grabbed our initial position at the top. Then I had orders waiting lower down, and it came bang, 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 hit those orders, and now it is reversing. So we were looking for this 8 hour to kick in. If this is the case and it keeps going, my target for me is about 14. I don't know, Panda, what were you looking at? Is that a little bit aggressive? Should we be looking at lower?
14 for pullback, or for
upside, 0.146 for
0.146. Yeah, that's kind of conservative from what I'm looking at, because if we just target the neckline, we're talking about a 30% move. I'm not trying to sell hope.
Yeah.
I just trade the chart in front of me, but it's very fair to say a decent push to the 50 MA will do just fine, right? And then we can split it in terms of 1-4. Yeah, that does make sense. That will be a TP point. 1408 is also a good TP point. 1579 is another TP point. And then the moonshot will be around 1830, 1840.
Okay, so look, baby steps for us. I mean, this trade is just a young puppy at the moment. So let's get this thing moving. Let's anticipate that there could be, if the market's going to stay bullish, let's anticipate that there could be another pullback, 5 or 6% before the next move. All you want to do as somebody who is swing trading Pyth is you want to just make sure these lows hold for you, or worst case that you get a candle close back above those lows. So this is still on the table, a little double dip, a double bottom, and look out, protect yourself, below 0.12. You want to make sure that you have some kind of cover there or some kind of protection. And remember, laddering in, nothing wrong with laddering in slowly into these things. I see Alex Crypto says, look at these handsome guys. He must be talking about Panda and James. I mean, must be.
You know who this is, right?
No.
I'm wearing the same hoodie from yesterday. Dylan has me locked in this cave to drop setups.
I see that. Who's Alex O?
He's from Sharpest. He's the one that's doing the stages with Piper in Chart.
There he is. Okay, we got the whole hackers team here, guys. Oh, sorry, that was an accident. Okay, okay. Let's look at a couple of other trades that I'm sitting in at the moment. One of them I want to focus on for you guys today is Nero on a degen basis. You can see I'm in a little Nero position. I'm going to take you through that chart. I've got a BTC hedge short running at the moment. I've got Popcat, which I held on to. Jeez, I was sweating bullets yesterday. And Popcat, $35,000 position. It's now 2,000 up. We got Ondo from the show. We got Link from the show. We got Virtual still doing its thing. And we got Giga from Chart Hackers and the show. So they are finally waking up. Obviously, my bias here is heavily long at the moment. And I'm looking for one more push in the market here. Are we going to get this final push here before they come and absolutely end us and capitulate us? So in terms of some degen setups, I want you guys to look at. Number one is this Nero, and we have seen a little bit of pumpage previously, or in the past. We can see this thing does move, and this was actually one of Panda's breakouts that he gave me not too long ago. It actually printed 2 handbags. That was an absolute ripper. So I am monitoring this one. I've got a small starter position at the moment, but I'm going to keep this one really, really simple. You can see I've got a squeezy setup that I'm trying to look for here, and I want to see some kind of pop and run on this thing. And it's a very easy game plan. If you start losing your rising trend, that is where you just want to jump out, and then you can come and look later on. So I like to get some burner positions going, and you can see we use some simple TA here. And for me, any dips into 676 and 663, looking for little buys here, we nibble there, and then you just want to see this thing ride higher. If it starts losing the trend, well, typically it turns bearish, and you don't really want to be around. If you are doing degen longs, you don't really want to be around if it starts losing and closing below trend. So we're going to keep watching this one. I'm going to put my alarm on here at 663, and let's keep our eyes on this. So it should notify us if we do dump into that zone. So that is one of the guys that I'm watching now at the moment. Crypto Lady says Nero is filthy. I agree. It's the bottom rung. It's like the bottom rung of degeneracy, this Nero. But it's delivered for me before. So as you can see, what I like to do with these things, I start very small positions. Look at that. It's $5,000 relative to some of the other sizes that I got running here. Link $62,000. So we don't go big with these degen plays. We go big later when there is some momentum. And Dylan, did you see your Popcat meme in our chat? James sent it to me, actually.
McLovin actually made one of the variations that was in there. I think it was the animated one where it was the whole body turning with your kitty there.
Well, if you can drop it on Twitter there or something, we'll get it up for the guys. So okay. One of the ones of interest here for us, and this is ENA, and we actually need to be looking at Uni as well, Maker, 𝗂𝗵𝗿, because these could be beneficiaries of this Genius Act. And the ENA I was obviously talking about earlier this week on the show. We never got the big entry into the deep zone, and we might be left with some kind of poppy sort of move out of this thing. So you can see I'm tracking this now on the 4-hour time frame, and I'm keeping it really simple. there is going to be a breakout here, I think we are going to get a little bit of action at the moment on this thing. So right now it has broken trend on the 4 hour, and we're looking for a little bit of momentum now. So what we're going to look at here is we're just going to pop our horizontals, and we can start looking at a possible long here. Can my degen extraordinaire take a look at this on lower time frames for me? I want to see if we can grab some kind of entry there, Panda, when you're off the phone. Obviously, you know, I'd hate to interrupt you when you're on the phone.
I'm actually checking an exchange, but I'm with you.
Okay. So will you take a lower time frame look at E&A, because I suspect we can jump into this one, and this is going to be literally a news-based trade that we're looking at, and obviously we want to get through this 407 number, but I think we've got about a 17%er on the cards on E&A. A bit of a degen play here for us. And PMG George, Nero ETH, 2,400%, screenshot, 100% profit TP. What's going on here? Okay, so Panda's going to watch E&A for us, but right now I'm seeing this as 375 as a stop losses area for us that we can use, and then a possible grind higher. Now we might get a little bit of action in the US, but as long as we're holding the lows of that 4 hour candle, then we are comfortable. So if we close under that 4 hour low, then I think we've got a problem in the market in general, because remember, these things are quite reactive to the positive news out there. And if this thing starts falling over, well, I think the market is a bit filthy as a whole then, if we start losing that one. Okay, so tentatively, while my degen breakout trader looks at this thing, 375. And guys, remember a couple of things. If you're enjoying this content, well, number one, hit the like, hit the bell, and hit the subscribe. Number two, I do this every single day on Crypto Banter Plus. I'll be back today at 5:30 p.m. in my time, South Africa. I think that's, 11:30, James, EST. And we do this all the time. And obviously, Panda is one of our traders in Chart Hackers. And that is my trading group that we operate from. Okay, so you're going to find a lot of action there. And Trader G's looking for some AVAX. Hello, sir. I met that man in Dubai. Okay, let's look at one of the shorts that I've taken here. And it's a tentative short. Now, remember, at Hackers, we trade stocks as well. We trade gold, we trade silver. What else is Jay doing? The NASDAQ, the US 100, those types of things. And obviously gold, a long gold play is generally counterproductive to long crypto, because technically if gold's ripping, sometimes we get a little bit of a hiding in some of the other markets. Obviously, it's not a perfect science, but we can use that as a guide. So I have tentatively started a gold short here. Okay, this is in anticipation of a possible final pump here in the markets, the S&P and things like that, and looking for gold to potentially reverse after yesterday's breakout trade. Now, why this is interesting for me is we've got bearish divergence printing on the 1 hour time frame, and the last time we had a bearish divergence print here on gold, we did see it slow down a little bit and dip into our degen zone there. So what I'm looking at here, nothing too serious on this thing. If the US market plays ball for us later today, we should see this gold oscillator start resetting, and then we can look for some longs again at gold at 3,250, somewhere in that type of region. So I'm sitting in BTCC at the moment. I'm sitting short on Microsoft, and I'm sitting short on gold. If you want to trade gold and stocks with me, you can do that on BTCC. There is a link in the show description there for you guys if you want to get a piece of this stuff. So the gold risk is pretty low at the moment. The stop loss that I'm using is about 0.5%. And as always, I always have a backup plan. So if this region fails, I'm expecting gold to push up into the 3370 region, and then I'm looking for a rejection there. So that is going to be my next short zone on gold. So we're going to test this current area, 3310 to 3320, testing this zone as a possible short. And then if we do get another pump, all that's going to do for me is possibly print some more bearish divergence like that, bang, and then we are going to get gold rolling over. And Crypto Lady says the gold trades make nice money. Yeah, they're short and sweet. You have to go relatively big, but the risk is quite low on these gold trades because your stops are 0.5% or 1%. Yes, sir.
But you don't have to go that big if you're using BTCC, because you can do 150x. So you can literally get the minimum trade size in for $20.
Filthy degen.
$20.
Bridge.
Filthy degen. Okay, well, look, I'm running gold on 50x, but yeah, I mean, you can ramp that shit up, but you filthy, James, filthy degeneracy. Okay, so guys, that's the gold situation. And just to give you my insights on gold, I believe that gold's looking super bullish, and S&P 500 looking a little bit toppy, Bitcoin at all-time highs. So I am expecting some kind of bullish gold run, okay, at the moment. So what we're looking at here is a short-term little pullback. Why am I expecting a bullish gold run? Well, number one, we've got some double bullish divergence print on the 12-hour. Look at that. So that is looking super bullish there in terms of that. And for me, quite simply, if you are a higher time frame trader and you're not looking for degen scalps, all you really want to see is this retest of horizontal on gold. So 3,250, that type of region, that makes tons of sense for me. And for me, that's an S&P push into all-time highs. That's a crypto push into all-time highs for Bitcoin, and then possibly a nice big rejection there, and hopefully we can get that short. Lindsay says I need to get trading gold. Lindsay, BTCC, just go to the show description, sign up there, and I dropped that gold setup in Chart Hackers today. There it is. And let me show you, we've got stonks and gold, and let me show you this gold setup here. There's Renier's trade. Okay, he's trading the Nasdaq, and here's Jay's trade. He's trading the Nasdaq as well. And here's my gold trade from earlier today that we dropped in Hackers. So remember, in Hackers, you get all these trade setups from us all day long. Captain, what are we going long here, right? What's happening? What are we doing?
Checking ENA real quick. If you want, I can share my.
And in the meantime, you need to check the research group. I've got your tweet ready.
Okay, let's take a look. There it is.
A little fart cat for everybody this morning.
There it is, looking good. Okay, bring up your screen there, Panda. Let's see what you got there.
Okay, so ENA just kind of zooming in on the 15. When it comes to quick and breakout plays and stuff like that, the chart might be a tad bit messy. I like to kind of just put in lines where I see trends and mainly the bullish or bearish resistance and support. But ENA on the, if I put hot zone indicator, it's bouncing off a 382 and it's claiming the weekly open as we speak. You're saying your stop loss is around 375, was it?
Are we looking, if it closes under that 4-hour low, it's a problem?
Yes, because I was going to say that's your POC, but there is a possible squeeze, I want to say, of potentially a 4% mover. Yet again, it's holding the weekly open. There's a bullish order block at around 0.40. People might ask, how do you have a bullish order block when it's ahead of the price? It's usually an indication of where a lot of people's stop losses are who have been shorting. Because when you're shorting something and you hit your stop loss, you're not selling your order, you're buying the asset that you're shorting. So that increases the price, and that's what leads to a squeeze, right? So there is a bullish order block sitting here, about 5% from here, and then a very strong bearish order block at 42. But that coincides with a 618 pull from the top to the low, right? So this is going to be major resistance. The 100 MA is coming in also by that bullish order block, which is a perfect recipe, people might say, for a very strong rejection. However, in these situations, it's a perfect recipe for a fake out, squeeze into the 618 and then a full retracement back to the 382 or the 50 or the VWAP. So if our bias is there is a move coming to the US Open, then it kind of makes sense for ENA to do something like this, where it's slowly claiming that 382 and that weekly open, kind of pushes through the bullish order block, gets rejected, grinds a little bit, and then pops, because I have a trend within another trend, right? Make its way to that bearish order block, go up, fill some of these inefficiencies. Again, I'm on the 2-hour. If we go to the daily, this will be a wick, and then kind of just come back looking like it's doing a retest, lose the 618, close under that bearish order block, and then kind of goes to hell, depending on what entry. When entry. I mean, if I would take it right now, again, okay, I know you want an entry, but can I just tell the people how sensitive the period that we're in terms of, we are an hour and a half before open, okay, and there is a pump leading to an open that usually leads to a dump post open. So please mind your leverage. with these breakout plays, trust me when I say starting with something as low as 7x and 30% of your margin, you'll be surprised by how quickly we can build positions. And we do that on a daily basis in Chart Hackers, where I show guys and girls how to build positions right after a squeeze. It's very easy. The point is, we just want to have a foot in the game. So it is a scalp. I mean, we can play the breakout candle under the 1 hour, but that's right on the POC. I'm still trying to snipe that entry. I want it to trickle down a little bit here. I can even jump in when the time is right, if you're talking about a token or something. But I kind of just want a little bit of a trickle back into the POC, or at least this V1 on the 15 to test, and then off we go. And then
okay, so guys,
on the POC.
So guys, you hear what's going down. Okay, we're seeing a higher time frame on a 4 hour, whatever, ENA is breaking trend, but on a degen basis, and I'm talking to the degens, the guys that are trading big leverage here, that are just itching to jump into things. Sometimes you actually need to be a little bit patient here on lower time frames and let this thing come back to you, because leading into the US, we can often get you can often get blinkers on, because sometimes it pumps, just like James was saying there. Sometimes it starts running a bit early, then you get that dip into the US, and it can come and absolutely end you. So if you're a higher stop loss trader, or you're a bigger time frame trader, what you can look at with me is ENA, because we can look at it relatively simple from this perspective. And it is a news based trade potentially in the market. We've got our 8 hour pushing up at the moment, so things are looking a little bit better from that perspective. But in terms of being a safe exit zone, for me, 375. So your risk at the moment is about 3.8%. So if you're a low stop loss, a low margin trader or spot trader, that can potentially work for you if you have a candle close under that 375. If you're more of a degen trader and you want to do degen games and play these types of games like we've got going on here with WIF and with Solana and things like that, you have to be a little bit more accurate with some of your entries. So Panda is going to give us he's going to give us an entry as and when it arrives. So US factors on trade. What's that? Yes, sir.
Speaking of, I might be taking a trade right now on Moodeng. I can pull my chart real quick.
Let's take a look.
It's on the 4 hour, but we can zoom in also.
Okay, let's see what you got here.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, looks good.
Perfect. So on the 4 hour, there is a major pullback here. These wedges often, I always tell people, like, we need to reach a decision and at least one impulsive move, whether to the upwards or the downwards. In this case, we lost this rising trend, and we are bang on the weekly open and the 382 on the 4 hour. The stocks on the 4 hour are still resetting, but when we zoom in on something like the 15, it's actually now consolidating and the stocks are flipping green, and we are right under this weekly open level. I find it interesting with these type of dumps and then, like a sudden type of consolidation, that usually gives an indication that there is an order block here, or there is a lot of interest here, which might switch the point of control on the 15 at one point to somewhere here. So this is enough for me to kind of start nibbling. And then I put a trend within a trend also on the 15, because, keep in mind that we're on the 4 hour. A rising trend can be completely different from a rising trend on the 5 minute or the 15 minute. But here, without lines, it just looks like we just filled this inefficiency. On the 4 hour, we're on the 382. It looks like we're in the middle range of this falling wedge. And that's enough for me to nibble, given that my stop loss is around 2.5. I was going to take it around here, but I was trading ENA. And then all we need is a faster recovery. Essentially what I want is to get back into this wedge that we saw on the 4 hour. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so that kind of gives you that indication.
Pulling out my chart. I think I'm going to trade this one. I'm going to trade this one on 𝗏𝗏. Okay, I'm going to have a crack on this one on 𝗏𝗏. I'm also just frantically pulling out my chart here, taking a look and just making sure we are good to go. But if you're happy with this thing, we need to take a look. I see these levels. They're tying in quite nicely as well with some of the lows down to even 207. Could be a little bump there, but this 217 does look interesting here to me at the moment, and we are close to a reversal on the 2 hour as well. So yeah, your 1 hour and your 2 hour are looking a little bit better. So I'm going to have a nibble here on 𝗏𝗏. Let me just pull up my screen here, and let's pull out some 𝗏𝗏. And we're just going to do this slowly. Okay, so let's see if we got some 𝗔𝗐 here. There she is, okay. And we've got our 1 hour, and I'm going to make sure it's isolated. So always when you're trading these super degen plays, make sure they're isolated. And remember, you don't have to go out the gates super big. Just in terms of position sizing, these types of volatile tokens, you can really ramp up later. There's no urgency to go big. So I just want to remind you, like you can see here on L-Bank, I'm trading SOL. It's $75,000 long, but I've only got a $10,000 𝗏 position because I'm not ready to ape on 𝗏 yet. You can see 𝗏 is still in a tight range here. So when 𝗏 starts breaking bigger levels, we'll start adding and we'll grow the position the same way I did it with SOL. So I'm going to get a burner position going here on 𝗔𝗐. And the reason behind this is we want to protect risk as much as possible. So we'll start a small position here. And if we start, it's telling me I need to log in. Yeah, hold on. All right, let me go to my...
And what's your invalidation here, guys, for this 𝗔𝗐? We got stop loss questions.
With plays like this, like on the 1 hour, look, we're bang on the 618. So a closing candle, if we're trading the 1 hour, we're trading the 30-minute and the 1 hour, it would be a 1 hour close under that last wick at 0.21495. A 1 hour close under it is more than sufficient since we're playing a scalp. It's to zoom in if we're playing much faster on the 5-minute and the 50-minute.
Log in. Hold on. Carry on.
I always tell the guys, like when you're on the 5 and the 15, always give it 3 candle closes under or above any level, resistance or support. 2 to 3 candles closes is usually, for a scalp, it's a decent indication. So for now, you can see the selling pressure coming in. Unless there's a whale in here watching who's selling.
Let's see. Okay, you can pull your chart up there.
Yeah, so, we're bang on that weekly open. And again, with these breakouts, you got to be very quick on your feet and you got to take educated guesses. Right now, I'm taking what I would call an educated bet that we're putting a lot of pressure on this. The blue line is the weekly open. With a quick claim, we should be crawling our way back up to here. A TP level would be, for a scalp, it's not bad at all for a 5% mover, just to get back into that wedge that I was showing on the 4 hour. So that's around 0.2324. And then taking it to the 382. Also, if there's a push coming, it's not too much to ask at 24.42. So again, 24.24 and 24.49.
Okay, hold on. I'm just logging into 𝗏𝗏 here.
Just checking also, GOAT is doing a little bit of 𝗏𝗀 things, but that's far gone. Just telling the guys to keep an eye on AIXBT and also AI16Z. That thing, unfortunately, I'm sorry guys, that was way too quick for me to call, but there was a little bit of a move on AI16. AI16Z. It just moved 6%. It's sitting on the 100-day MA right now. You might be getting a pullback. Is this my chart? Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So there was a nice reversal candle here, but then there was very quick acceleration. We're at the 100 MA. This you can consider it a fair value gap, this big candle on the 1 hour. So we expect it to get filled. If we come back down here, kind of just play around, around these levels, whatever used to be a wick, that's becoming kind of a support level now is usually a good indication when you're scalping. And you would want to see something like this, and then a fake out to the downside with a quick claim. That's usually your long is right here.
Okay, I'm ready to go. It logged me out. Hold on. There it is. Okay, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go with 𝗔𝗐. Okay, here we go. So the account is now logged in. Okay, I'm ready to go. Pendle running $10,000. Pyth $20,000. Let's go. 𝗔𝗐. Okay, so let's get this thing going. Okay, so what's the plan here? We're nibbling.
Yeah, we're nibbling. So for me, sizing wise, when it comes to these breakouts, when it's at the mid range or the low, I would go something like 5-7x and 30% of my position on isolated. And with these type of plays, guys, it's more of this is money I'm willing to lose. I'm willing to get literally liquidated if I don't put a stop loss. I'm willing to lose that money. So yeah, and then your stop loss will be
$5,000 here on Mooding.
And then your stop loss 0.2134, a 1 hour close under 0.2134.
0.2134. Okay, cool.
Which is your 618 on the 1 hour.
Okay, so I'm going to put it just below that there, bang, okay, in that region, okay. And then we're good. Okay, so small position here. Yeah, as you know, I've banked Pendle. We now got a scalper running there at the moment. That is still news-based, RWA, a little bit of DeFi stuff going on. That could be good. And then Pyth, yeah, it's looking good. Okay, so we're going to leave this one for now. Let's see how that plays out. What else is cooking? I think the guys want to talk.
I don't want to interrupt you again, man, but we might want to have a look at cow.
You filthy, bro.
Going through all these different animals. It's the zoo show.
Look it up, dude. I got a zoo going on. Just look up. Just look it up. That's all I can say. Just look it up. Dude.
The other one you may want to look at, people are talking about the chats here, is ADA. There was big FUD yesterday about the $600 million treasury fraud with Hoskinson. It dipped. Might be a good one to look at for recovery because they're doing a full audit. He says it's all horse shit and whatever. Might be a good one to look at.
Bro, how do we trade this?
What do you want to do, boss?
How do we trade this, bro?
Fuck me. Like, what do I even need to explain this chart?
How do we trade this? Yeah, I'm scared, bro. I'm scared. This, this makes me nervous.
The
Guys,
psychology behind it is insane. Okay. Telling someone to long a 6% green candle. We're not longing it now, but we can possibly ride this. It's coming into the last week's high, which is a very strong resistance. The 15 minute, I was talking about that on your show yesterday. If you look at the stocks on the 15 minutes, you will see that it did the first, remember that alpha call that I gave? It gave the first print right there, and then it's dipping down, and now you see the cash flow turning green. That's usually your blow off top that I was talking about on alpha. So I thought that was interesting because it's literally a live case example in front of us. Doesn't mean that's going to happen just like alpha, but it does look like it wants to do a very impulsive move. It's really pushing into previous week high.
How do we buy this, bro?
Well, okay. If I just had more time to look into this, if I wasn't live, I would be doing this exactly like alpha, where I would be longing this into a short hedge while I'm focusing on the long. So I would go something like I don't know, just whatever numbers. I would go 1,000 in long, but then I'll kind of protect my downside with 350 or 400, you know, like a 2-to-1 kind of thing, if I'm being absolutely disgusting. But a breakout candle like this, the stops are usually below, which is 5% in this case. But look at the 4 hour as well. It's doing the stocks on the 4 hour is doing exactly like the 15. So that can be a prolonged move. In this case, if we're doing a blow off top on a 4 hour stock, we're looking at least current year mid-level, which is about 0.61. That's 40% from here. Again, a little bit of hopium, but you'll be really surprised by how these tokens just blow up when it comes to these news-driven situations. Right now, we're collecting orders. There's a very big, I don't know if my screen is shared or not, but we're collecting orders. There's an order block right here. We're putting in equal highs, but what time is it? 4:15. Let's go on the 15-minute because I want to show you closing basis. Okay, so this was the previous top, right? That led to a breakdown. You can see very strong rejection, 1, 2, 3 wicks on the 15 that led into a breakdown. If we just come back here, this is one candle. So this, you'll be chasing the green. Now, what do we want to see? If it's a rinse and repeat at the previous high, you're going to FOMO into this, you're going to long. This is going to wick. Next candle, 50-minute candle is going to stall. It's going to go back, but it's going to close and it's going to show another wick, and then it will fall under. What I'm suspecting here is, I think by the close of this candle, we're closing a body here. Next candle, I want the body to close above previous week's high, and that will be my ultimate bet of I'm going to long this, and my stop loss is going to go under this new 50-minute candle. Did that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lesson in degeneracy. What's
look at
going on here? I mean, this is good shit.
Look at this.
Okay.
This is body. This is demand, and then look at the stocks. Immediately, it's shifting. Like we just need to watch it. Now this is where we zoom on the 5 minute and see the stalling. Okay, here's your big block. If I go on the 1 hour, I believe was it the 1 hour or the 2 hour where there was a very. Regardless, we all know that this is the there's a big bearish order block here. Big breakout consolidation. So it's the move is impulsive. How big the move is impulsive, yes, but keep in mind the consolidation that we're under here. So this is a solid level and it's off the point of control. Just goes back endlessly on the stages that I do with the chart hackers. I keep on telling you guys, point of control, anything with a point of control consolidation, if the sellers get exhausted, it will move in an impulsive manner to the upside or to the downside. This is how we caught that 30% virtual pump like 3 weeks ago. Remember when it was a God candle and I was screaming in the chat, we need to long this, boss? That was exactly it. We claimed the POC, clearly looked like we're consolidating. Stocks turned green and off we went. And that's how we went to, I think it was like mid-year level or something like that. So
okay, when entry, bro?
When entry, how long do you have? Because we really need to sit and watch these candles. So you can
put your alarm on it. Stick your alarm on. I want to deal with 𝗏. I think 𝗏 is, it's time to add the 𝗏 here. James is excited about it.
I'll keep an eye on this.
Okay, so get your alarm on. I think 𝗬𝗎 could be breaking trend as well. Yeah, it looks like a nice pre-market open pump here. Could be interesting. Could be a brutal sell-off later on.
Or we might get surprised and US may buy this shit up while everybody's waiting for the dip.
Oh, fuck, that would be nice.
I got a feeling there's something fuckery going on this morning. We might see a pump.
James, you always have a feeling there's fuckery going on. Right?
Yeah, well, generally, yeah.
Being brought up.
Okay, so yeah, let's see. Mooding is okay at the moment. Let's see what's going on there. Okay, so that's just chilling. Let's talk 𝗏. So 𝗏 was a setup that I gave you guys on the show yesterday. I gave it on the accelerator course and I gave it in hackers as well. So 𝗏 is finally now pushing through this trend. So I talked to you guys about playing games with leverage and things like that and being patient and waiting for the right time. And now 𝗏 is starting to push a little bit higher. So what I'm going to do is start nibbling a little bit more 𝗏 here at the moment. So let's go to market here. Let's add a little bit more to my 𝗏 position. So I'm just going to nibble. And because remember, we're going to have people now trying to long this breakout on 𝗏. So that might also help things a little bit. So I've added a small bit now. So this 𝗏 trade is now $14,000. And when we get this breakout, it could be exciting. Okay, so if we get a hard break here, then I'd expect a sell-off into US. And then we're going to get some kind of pullback dip into that zone. And then we're going to look for this next push here on 𝗏. Okay, and Panda, he's left us. I see. I also just disappeared. It shut down my internet.
No, I'm here. Just dealing with the things there.
No, did you notice I disappeared? It shut everything down. I had to reopen.
Sometimes it freezes for a second when you're live.
Yeah, I don't know what went down there. Okay, so I've added a bit to 𝗏. Let's talk about the 𝗏 chart and let's talk about that setup. So just for you guys who want to know how we went about it, and then we've got a bonk breakout trade coming for you guys as well. In terms of 𝗏, why was this interesting to me? Well, yesterday we saw a big sell-off in the market. Well, not massive, but we did see a dip in the market, and we did pick up some bullish divergence, a 1 hour reversal print on a nice hot zone, and then we started getting that reversal on 𝗏. So now the real test, obviously, is a clean break of this horizontal. Right now, we are at a danger zone. This is danger for us, and this is our first TP. So remember, if you're trading reversals on hot zones, by the time you get to a trend break, that's normally our first TP zone, and this is where you make decisions. This is where you say to yourself, am I adding to this trade? Am I opening a head short, or am I taking profits, or whatever that plan is going to be? So right now, I'm obviously leaning towards some kind of pumpage here later on, and I've now nibbled a bit more, and the strategy on this for 𝗏 could be a simple game. What needs to happen here is a pop through, and we probably get this rejection 1.07, and then we're going to look at about 1.01 for some kind of pop there on that thing. So that could be another ad zone when we come back to visit that area. So that's tentatively how we're going to play this 𝗏 at the moment. So if you are still riding it, we are cooking at the moment. I see Nero's doing things. Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay, Neuro just it's just chilling. Okay, chilling at the moment. It did drop into our 618 there. Let's see if there's a bit of momentum. Now let's talk bonk, because bonk's an interesting one. I've been waiting super patiently for an entry. Now I'm trading against David Tech in a competition against these bots, and I wanted to nail the bots in one trade, and my one trade was going to be a 4-hour reversal play on bonk, and I've been waiting very patiently for my entry, and now, you know, at this current move here, we might not be coming back, so we'll have to see how this goes. I've got my entries on WEX waiting, ready to go lower down, but in terms of what could potentially be happening next, well, we can see bonk on the 2-hour is getting into a squeezy setup here. Look at that. It is pushing into a squeezy setup there, and we are looking for some kind of pop here and maybe a little run on the market. So remember, when we see these squeezy setups, we can start getting interested, especially when we start seeing some final pushes, especially on the lower time frames to the upside. We're going to look for some kind of pop of that area. So not in bonk yet, waiting patiently here. We want the squeezy setup to play out. And when we start breaking this 2-1 region, if we start popping through this 2-1 zone, then you're going to see maybe a bit of fireworks on bonk, and our target is going to be the 618 bang, and we're going to target that 200-day MA. So 228 and 24 is what we're going to be targeting. So we're looking for a pop there, bang, and then we're going to ride that one a little bit higher up. Okay, so Mia says bonk is not working. Look, Mia, we're waiting. I still think anything is possible. I don't want to take those entries away just yet, and we're waiting. I mean, there's a big zone to tap here at this 50-day MA, Mia, somewhere down there. And I still think it's on the table if we don't get this push, because some people might look at this thing bearishly, and some might say, well, if we do get a pop up here, we're going to look at some kind of bear flag. Okay, and then we might be just dropping down to that next zone. So it's something interesting there to consider on bonk. So if we do get a pop, just like Panda's saying, might be a short-term little burst, and that might tie in very nicely with BTC pushing into the final push here. And I've actually got a short order waiting on BTC. Look at this. I'm prepped and ready. 110. 110 is the number. Okay, we got 100K Bitcoin short waiting at 110K. Okay, we're going to see if we get some kind of burst later on today. Am I going to get rinsed, James? James not impressed. Not impressed. Am I going to get rinsed at 110, Panda? Are they going to come for me, bro? I can't hear Panda. He's talking though.
Whoops.
He's
Sorry, I'm with you. 110, 111. I was telling the guys and girls that chart hackers today that this is my zone where I'm going to be lettering in.
Yeah, I think it's time. I really think it's time, especially if it happens today, because look at that divergence. We're going to get our third or fourth divergence print there on BTC on the 2-hour, and I think that's going to be a trigger there for us down there. So yeah, just waiting. You can see I am in a short at the moment. We'll see what type of momentum we get later, but I'm not confident it goes above 110. I think we're okay. And H2 Bull says waiting for the limit on bonk to hit this year too. Yeah, look, we're waiting hard. I mean, I think it's coming. I don't want to get too impatient with it. You know, sometimes we have to wait. Like all this greenery here could absolutely reverse and rinse me at any moment. So we're gonna have to wait and see. Okay, what else is cooking there, bro?
Fart cat.
I'm eyeing. Sorry, go for it, man.
But I had it here. Where's this tweet? There it is. Yeah, Popcat's back. Popcat's back in the mix. It's back in the mix, guys. So I just want to point out Popcat traders. Like I am a little bit concerned here. We got double divergence on this thing. We might be getting our final push here before some kind of capitulation. Doesn't mean we can't get a little pop into 0.5. Okay, so I mean, I've been hanging on to this Popcat for dear life. It put me under pressure there yesterday, and now we're finally cooking a little bit. But danger zone here, 48, danger zone 0.5. These are areas we just got to be careful. Okay, just got to be careful there on this thing. Okay, Panda, what's going on there? What do you got?
I'm checking drift. This could be. I'm not trying to get super excited, but drift could be one of those scalp on the 15-minute that turns into a swing kind of thing. Yeah, speaking about the wedges, falling wedges, and then consolidation inside, and the decision needs to be made. We are at the very, very, very end. This is do or die kind of thing for drift at the moment. I am on the 8-hour, but I'll zoom in because I wanted to see how many candle closes are we getting about this 100. So in the grand scheme of things, I didn't include this because, this possibly can be the fake out deviation back into this rising trend, which is very good. Claimed the 50 clearly, and then we bounced off it. It was an 8% bounce, and now we're kind of, I wouldn't say at this point we're not adding pressure to the 100 MA. We didn't get a very strong rejection from it. We're kind of just grinding our way through it. So zooming in on the 2-hour, again, you can see that we're just bang on, and same thing with the divergences. This is turning pinkish. It went from, pointing downwards pretty hard to demand coming in. So it tells me a little bit of a blow off top could be something around the lines of, even if it's here at the 6% move, TP2 will be 13%, and then a real blow off top if they want to put a double top, signaling 109, 110, 110 and a half Bitcoin. This will be the beginning of our swing short. So we can see something like that on drift. But I really look at how it's claiming that, dude. It's like smooth sailing. Still under the daily open. That's my only sketchy part with this scalp is with this strength, we're still consolidating under the daily open. And usually when you consolidate under a level like this for too long, it leads to a breakdown. But the flip side is we got the 100 and the 50. Looks like to be claimed on the 50 and tinkered around with the 100. So I'm trying to snipe an entry because, we're looking at a 3% drop. And this can easily, guys, this is not running. Just US flush. I'm not joking when I say a 3-minute candle can just go back to the weekly open and then kind of climb its way back up. So it's okay. You don't have FOMO, but I definitely see something here.
Look at 𝗬𝗍, bro. Look at 𝗬𝗍 for me.
I kind of skipped past it because, oh my God, I knew I was.
Look at it. Look at it. Look at it on what do you got? A 1 hour, even the 30 minutes, or something like that.
I mean, yeah. I love this formation. It's you see this volatility on something like 𝗬𝗍. It tells you how much hunger there is in it, right? For a top token, just random fluctuations of 5 to 6 to 7% in a range on the 1 hour it tells you there's a move coming. I know I sound repetitive. There's a big move coming to the upside or to the downside. The only thing is this proper demand, or is this just manipulation under weekly levels, like a self-fulfilling prophecy kind of thing, where a lot of people will be aping shorts here because everyone that trades ranges will be like weekly open, 3 rejections, everyone here's a fake out, everyone short. That's the tough part. But 𝗬𝗍 is primed just like that bonk setup that you're showing. What I love about this is this deviation on the previous week low. So we did sweep. We swept everything. 𝗬𝗍 is a little bit less disgusting and degen than some of the tokens I'm bringing. So this is this is a respectable price action chart, I would say. So this breakout will be, it will grind upwards. So
I want to grab 𝗬𝗍. I just I've got I feel like I got too much going on here at the moment. I mean this little range.
I'll ease the load. I'll take it for you. Just tell me when entry and I'll take it.
Okay, so guys, this is how you're going to play this, or this is how you can play this. Now remember, when we're trading breakouts, there's got to be a couple of things happen. Normally you pop through a horizontal and there's a little squeeze. Okay, now what typically happens is you get a hard pop through the horizontal and it typically rejects at another horizontal. The real trade is on that dip, sometimes back into the range, and you're typically going to find that that pullback is around about a 382 fib pull from the lows to the highs. So you really want to see this start playing out for you. So a little pop there, and then do the bulls step in? That's always the question. If they do step in, they keep it out of that range and they send it higher. So you got to be a little bit patient for this thing, and that's why we say you nibble, and then the real trade is on that little dip into the back. So once you get support on 𝗬𝗍 from 3.94 down to about 3.9, somewhere in that region, 3.94 to 3.9, once you have support there, then you should be okay. and then this thing can start ripping. Alternatively, if it loses that, it typically comes back to the range low, and then you're either looking at a bearish play or you're looking at that bounce again at that bottom of the range. Okay, and Adam says Moodeng is off. Okay, so yeah, I mean, watching low time frames
on Moodeng to the degen scalpers. If you, for the people that really took a lot of leverage on this, stop losses to entry, please, because we are cooking, but we're hitting the top of this.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys can see here on this chart on 𝗶𝗆 at the moment. Look at that. There's our underside resistance. So we got to be careful there. If you push up into that zone there, just look out for a rejection. And right now you can see I've raised my stop 217. My stop is sitting at the moment. Okay, so let's see if that goes. But there is danger ahead. For me, where do I add to this thing? When it reclaims that guy, we're going to add. So when it reclaims 2-3, is what we're going to look for. So when we reclaim that, then we can add to the position. And then before you know it, you can have $10,000 running on Moodeng and maybe some momentum, and it's going to be a risk-free trade. Okay, so we just got to wait, let it play out a little bit. And Pi's looking good, bro. Pi's looking good. Pendle, let's see. Pendle's still choppy. I was a little bit concerned about Pendle. That's why I closed earlier. It was kind of looking a little bit toppy for me here in that box. And I thought, let me just bank, and then I've got a little scalpy running here. So we might get a similar cluster breakout here, Panda.
I was just going to say, you see, it's doing exactly that 𝗬𝗎 formation, only it's like lagging a little bit behind. So that's actually, that would be next. If something like 𝗬𝗎 runs, then Pendle is in that bucket. You know, it will be a lagger, but it should be run. But fair enough, no one has ever gone broke by taking profits, right? So. No, that's I can check that. Pyth is doing good. It's claiming the daily open on the 15. Bang on that VWAP on the 15, but still claiming it. That's fine. I'm eyeing Mog, Super, and Brett while you're talking. But if I pull up,
gold's fallen over.
That's amazing, huh? Yeah, man. Pendle is.
So guys, just a reminder on gold, why was it a possible short? Well, reminder, we got bearish divergence there. We've got a regular 618. We've got horizontals. We've got various hot zones action there. Okay, so that is why it was a possible short. And now you can see gold is dipping, and you can see the result. What happens typically, not every time, but when gold starts falling over, you might get a pump in the regular markets. When the regular markets start falling over, sometimes you're going to get a pump in gold. And that is how you can look out for these different things. Now, what I'm seeing is the S&P and the NASDAQ and a lot of stuff looking very overbought, looking very tired. Bitcoin as well, looking very tired on the daily. And we're seeing gold looking very hungry for a pump. So for me, it's starting to feel like we are nearly at the end of the big move. And that is why I'm looking at that 110 BTC short at the moment. Okay.
This is feeling an awful lot like a shitcoin weekend where things are just popping like crazy. All of the shitcoins are just, look at WIF. And banter bubbles, it's all just shitcoins that are popping up. Great big bubbles.
Oh, hello.
Giga.
Hello there.
Yeah.
Hello,
AIXBT, all this shit's just running.
I'm not.
Oh, I wonder how my virtual's going here. Yeah, virtual's moving nicely. Yeah. Virtual's cooking. Okay, nice.
Peanut, eyes on Peanut.
When Panda says eyes, I get nervous.
That means ape.
No.
Win entry.
It's really taken out of context. Eyes as in, guys, be careful. We're coming into a squeezy setup. So if you know basic charting, and if you don't, then Dylan's school will teach you more than basic charting. When I say eyes on, like I do in the Discord and stuff, means pull out your 15-minute chart and kind of get an idea of what I'm trying to tell you. Because I'll say
it means long 50x, bro.
Or eyes on a short or whatever. So I mean, so in this case, eyes on a long. Put it on the 15 minutes. Look at that double top that we're coming into now. Is this Peanut? Are you on Peanut?
Yeah, this is Peanut.
Yep. So on the 15, you can see a very strong bearish block at 0.3489, and we're going back into it, putting pressure on it again. But what I like is a 50-minute bodied close where previously there were wicks. So right now, this candle that we're seeing on the 15, I want it to close at least at the fair value gap of the green candle. So basically where it's sitting right now. If it's a full engulfing, then we'll move on. This was a fake out. But if not, if it sits at the 50% level right now, if you put, I can show on my screen if you want, because I want to show people in scalping like the beginning of a cluster forming. So the reason why I want it to close here or show support here is if I simply just, I can draw this and I'll just leave it and then we can come back to it later. This is kind of our new range on the 15-minute. Forget the timeline, just look at the candle formation. You know, we had consolidation, a little bit of a cluster formation, impulsive move to the upside, right? Gaining acceptance, and then another impulsive move to the upside, and now we're consolidating. We're finding support here at this bottom where this wick is. So now this is the bottom of our new forming cluster. This is the 50% level of our cluster, and this is the top range of our cluster. As long as price remains here, then this is a valid cluster that will probably lead into an order block leading to a breakout or a breakdown. And this is where the impulsive move happens. So I want it to kind of gate support here, because this will tells me that we're gaining acceptance at this 50% level of the cluster. And then what I want to see next is maybe another dip back into the bottom of this cluster, confirming that this is
entry.
I got carried away. This is a lesson now. I was just giving a little bit of a nugget of what we do in chart.
When entry, you can give lessons in chart hackers, bro.
Yeah. When entry, give me a couple of 5-minute candles and I'll give you an update. But
yeah, we're waiting. Guys, let's update 𝗏𝗏𝗏. Let Panda give us the entry, bro. We need an entry. Okay, here's 𝗏. Okay, so 𝗏 looking for a dip at the moment. So this is going to be our bullish support that we're going to use here on 𝗏. Okay, so no changes to the plan. You can see it's rejecting at our first rejection zone. TP zone 2 has now been hit on 𝗏. Okay, so now we're just looking for our support to hold. So remember the strategy here. You just go fibs low to high, bang, bang. And you look for that 382 at worst to hold, okay? You don't want to really lose that one. And look at that confluence now, that 382. So 1.015 is going to be an add-on zone potentially there for 𝗏 when it drops back. And hopefully we get some continuation here, hopefully. Let's see. It's a nice mover though. Nice, very nice. There was a question on 𝗏, Panda.
𝗏.
How are we on 𝗏? Where's this 𝗏? It says, how are we on 𝗏? Let's see, where's this 𝗏?
We're consolidating now.
Yeah, consolidating under resistance, not necessarily the worst thing. ENA also looking a little bit aggressive.
Yeah, and 𝗏 basically shifted structure. So that's another squeezy setup.
Let me pull it out for you there. Okay, your screen is up.
Yeah, so... yeah, this is far too gone to be real talk, far too gone to be degens about it, because it isn't this block. I love when a candle is sitting like this and it closes. If you say when entry, a 4-hour close right here, literally this is your entry right here. And then below 50% of this candle is your stop loss. That's gaining acceptance. That's a big thing, but we have 3 hours left. I really don't want to risk telling people to ape in now, but 𝗏 is definitely on your radar. If we kept an eye on it, we could have been in by now, but now we're 6% to POC. It's not worth it.
Disappointing.
I know, right? Because there's so many different setups. I know, right? Moodeng is doing well.
Okay, so yeah, we got you guys in Moodeng. That's a good start. Let's just go. Let's see where we're going.
Where else?
Yeah. Okay. So Moodeng's okay. It's okay. It's green is good. We just got to get through that big. We got to get to that big 2-3 zone on Moodeng. Okay. We just want to break through that guy.
Okay, there's Peanut. Just need confirmation of this cluster, but it's heavy divergences on the 3 and the 5 minute. That tells me that it's running out of steam. Yeah, there you go. That's the star, strong rejection here. That's failing acceptance from this level. So moving on, unless this comes back down to the bottom and tests, I'll get back to that in a second. The one that was popping was this token, some 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, this KTA. It looks very OM type of, but it's bouncing out of nowhere here. This nothing here. AI16Z. I was trying to call that earlier. And what else? What else?
AIXBT.
I'm gonna watch my screen.
Cunning George wants to know when Pyth add. We'll leave that up to Panda. Panda, you're going to tell me when to add to Pyth. I've got my first entries booked. But
let's get our groove on first with Pyth. Pingu, I'm going to pull it up now. Let's get our groove first here, guys. Let's just clear some stuff for you here. So we're bang on the daily open. Let's kind of pop. Nothing too crazy. Let's pop. Let's get back into this box, right? Let's consolidate here. Maybe either dip or just grind up. We'll add here, or maybe we'll add here once we get acceptance here. I'll update everyone, but
update in hackers. Yeah. Panda will update you guys in hackers. Remember, guys, if you're enjoying the content, make sure you are subscribed to this channel. This is Crypto Live. We're going to do random impromptu live sessions here, and I'm telling you now, I've got 𝗏𝗆𝗍𝗍 coming in hot. And he's going to do a showdown with me, and it's coming tomorrow. So make sure your bells are on, your notifications, and you are subscribed to this channel. Okay, we are coming in hot with some action tomorrow.
We got Smash Dupsy tomorrow, eh?
Oh, we're going to deal. We're going to deal tomorrow. I'm going to take him on in a degen scalping challenge or something. We're going to figure it out, but it's coming in hot.
Like fun. I like it.
He's quite fun to have a laugh with as well. We have a good time. Okay, so Pyth, we're going to add on more momentum. Waiting for that patiently. Okay, so let's just see where we are here. So yeah, I mean, just like Panda's saying, you kind of want to see momentum. Right now, Pyth is sitting under this horizontal. So when we get that type of momentum here, we can start playing games. You can see a little squeezy setup brewing here potentially. Okay, so that is nice for us there on Pyth. If we can get that type of squeeze, then we can add PMG George. So it was PMG. No, it was Cunning George. It was Cunning George. Is it prime time on Brett? That's a good one. Before we jump off, let's make sure we cover some Brett here. Let's see. Well, Brett's given us 2 chances on the level. It's given us 2 options. 4 hour bit iffy at the moment, not happy. Let's see the 8. 8's grinding. 12. It's not my best, Daily's running out of speed. Look at that. That daily's running out of steam. Cash flow dropping. Oscillator dropping.
At resistance now too, is it not on the trend?
Yeah, it's funny. It's looked weaker than a lot of the others. It looked. It's kind of
happy that you're saying that. So happy that you're saying that. I'm sitting in the short, and I was telling you.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I'm not like. I mean, my feeling here at the moment is we at the end of this push, and the way gold is teeing up as well. And the S&P at the top, we got Bitcoin at the top. I really feel like this is the final sneeze here. Maybe we're going to get something out of these alts, but yeah, I think we're going to be in some pain coming here. So you just want to be ready, and we don't want to, we don't want to hang on too long. Like I might have to close some of these positions as well. I don't want to get caught with my pants down on some kind of dip. Let's see where we are with WIF. Here's our WIF trade. Here's my WIF
trading, giving this one.
Okay, so WIF's coming into our zone. Okay, WIF is dropping into the rebuy zone. Now remember, guys, this is the typical breakout strategy here. You get that pop, and you don't get caught buying the top of the candle. Okay, and then wait for that pullback. Wait for this dip into that zone, and then you can look to add. Or if you missed the trade, well, this is ultimately where you start looking for your longs. When you drop into this region over here, that is going to be your new long session or your add session there. I'm reading session and I'm saying session. The session is golden. Okay. Okay, guys. Any final words? We got to bounce here, but a couple of nice setups for you guys. I'm obviously back on Banter Plus in 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours, 2 hours, 45 minutes from now. Banter Plus. We're going to see what they're doing to us in that US session. Are we going to get our gold long? Are we going to get the gold bounce? Are we going to get the S&P short? Is my Microsoft short finally going to pay? Let's look at this. Let's see. We got Tesla. That's moving into our short zone. Let's not forget Tesla is looking like it's going to fall over. And Microsoft pre-market, look at that, 454. Looks like it might open a little bit lower today as well. And I've got these running on BTCC. Okay, so the gold is green. Microsoft might be falling over. Let's see how that is going to work out. Panda, any final situations here?
I might be longing Pingu. That's I mean,
it's fine. I'm
win
gonna
entry, win entry.
Win entry, this pullback. Okay, now my chart. So put in a limit order. First of all, stop loss. We're gonna keep it super degen.
Okay, I'm gonna put your chart up here. Hold on.
Yeah, it's just like this kind of triple bottom, breaking trend here on the short time frame. Isolators are showing some sort of a squeezy setup happening here. I'm going to wait for a pullback on the 15. It's going to be enough for me to do this. I want to pull back here because there was a lot of consolidation here. You see what I mean? It
sounds like you don't have your kahunas out today, bro. That's what it sounds like. It feels like you're lacking more kahunas.
Open, man.
This is as dangerous as it gets.
In my overall short mentality, like something like it's pumping me up. You know what I mean?
Okay, let me cover your sentiment here. Okay, so guys, this is the level of degeneracy. Here's Pengu. I actually first thought you said Pendle, but yes, Pengu. Okay, bearish as fuck on the oscillator at major resistance. Okay, so the bear case is we are sitting at major resistance. Okay, what is the bull case? The bull case is we get a squeeze, we get some kind of pop, and that brings me back to these squeezy setups that I always talk about. Now we're teeing these up on alts all over the place. This is make or break. This is where they fake out and end you, literally fake out and end you, send you to zero, or they're going to pump it up, and if the US likes what they see, they're going to pump it up and the buyers are going to step in on that dip. And that is what we're playing. That's literally what we're playing. So if you're happy to take on that type of risk, well, play the game with us. But that is essentially the risk. We have major resistance. If there is a squeeze, it's up to the bulls. The bulls have got to come. And Melinda says, so market pump or dump. Melinda, my basic sentiment is Bitcoin's nearly at all-time highs. Oscillators are looking tired. S&P nearly at all-time highs. Oscillators are looking tired. Gold at dip, now it's pushing higher. Oscillators are looking super bullish on gold. Maybe we have a situation with the gold pump and these other markets at resistance fall over. I've got a short ready for BTC. 110K is the level that I'm looking to get a short at. Obviously going to monitor that live. We don't want to get rinsed. But yeah, that should be in play. It could be in play later on my show on Banter Plus. So make sure you are watching there. Guys, if you enjoyed that, please subscribe to the channel and you're going to get some notifications from us. You can find Panda and James. They're actually both in Hackers. And you'll see you'll see James later on my show. Thank you, guys. Panda, thank you, sir.
Be careful.
Be careful, guys. Be careful. We're into the US Open. If we pump much harder into the US Open, probably a sell-off. If we get a little reversal, we might get some opportunities. So make sure you're tuned in. Banter Plus, 5:30. I'll see you guys later. I hope you enjoyed that, actually. I enjoyed that. See you later.